You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more.
Hi there, I'm Garrow. Come on through and check out my new home at the iconic Carlyle on the Upper East Side. I'm Garrow Kedigian, New York City interior designer. Ever since I moved to New York City, I've been enamored with the Carlyle. It's not very often that you can actually come across an apartment here. I came to see the apartment, I'd seen it online, and I fell in love with it immediately. Of course, living at the Carlyle, the best thing is having access to Bemelman's bar. And of course, in our lobby, we have a little private entrance that goes directly into the hotel. So you never even have to go outside. So if it's cold outside, you could just go downstairs without a jacket. And also, all the residents have pre-reserved tables down at Bemelman's, as well as the Dowling restaurant. And we do also have the perks of being able to use the gym, which is wonderful, which I haven't done yet, I really should do. And also you can order room service, although I don't recommend it because it's very expensive. I would say my design aesthetic is a streamlined classic. It's really it's rooted in traditional and classical architecture and design, but I do push the envelope with color. I really like to play around with my palettes, really pushing that envelope in terms of a little bit more bold, a little bit more styled. My upholstery is classic, but not fussy. So it's clean, but very traditional. So here is the lovely cocoon-like space that is the entrance into my apartment. Now, I always tell people, when you have a dark space, you should paint it dark. You should just go with it. Everybody has that knee-jerk reaction of, oh, I want to paint my dark space light. But honestly, if you want to create a little bit of a mood like I do, I love to take the opportunity to paint a dark space dark, make it high gloss. The sheen of the walls catches all the little embers of light that come through across from the brighter living room. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful technique. So I made this room a little bit of a gingerbread decorative element room. I painted panel lines on the walls, and people who know my work know that I love to do this detail. It gives you a lovely contrast, and it creates architecture where there is none. And one of the most fun little elements that I did was this little filigree across the top. This is from a great company called Decorator Supply in Chicago. I love everything that they make. So you come in through the front door, you have this deep, dark, mysterious, beautiful space. And what that does is it just augments and characterizes the light and brightness of the living room next door. It's very successful. Come on through. See how gorgeous this is? So when you have a dark space and you walk into a light space, it just further augments just the uplifting feeling that you get, especially in saturated color spaces. So this is my living room. It's not a huge space, but it is really charming. And just shows you then when you have a small space, you can actually, if you work with scale, you can actually have multiple seating groupings. I love to always use my banquettes. Everybody knows me for my banquettes. This one has a fabulous fringe trim. The color of the living room walls really takes its precedent in Dorothy Draper's mustard-colored yellow banquettes that are so famous in the lobby of the Carlyle Hotel. She has these wonderful mustard yellow banquettes that are really iconic, and they contrast sharply with a beautiful black detailing. So that really was my starting point. But the best part of this living room is really the access to the terrace. Here's this gorgeous, wonderful outdoor space, and having outdoor space really changes your life in New York City. And I took my cue from these gorgeous ironwood French doors. These are all original. And when I purchased the apartment, believe it or not, the windows were actually just a very banal aluminum white. So I actually had my contractor apply moldings onto the windows. Can you believe it? So these are actually the original aluminum windows. I had him apply these little strips of mullions that make the windows feel like the French doors. And by painting them black, you cheat the eye into actually thinking you have an extension of that beautiful architectural detail. One of my favorite little corners in the room is this little sofa niche. And it's fun because what I did was I actually put this built-in mirror, very Plaza Athénée, that reflects, of course, my terrace across. So it almost feels like there's another window here. And it's a great trick. Using mirrors is sometimes the best strategy in interior design. And one of my best tricks in this apartment was really to put mirrors in these jambs. And one of the things that it does, it actually makes the French doors look like they go on forever into the side wall, which is a great trick. You know, a lot of the things that you see in my apartment are actually from the Paris flea market. Upholstery I have all custom made, but pieces like these dining chairs, I found these, actually they were painted a bright fluorescent green at the Paris flea markets, and I have like, I think about 12 of them, and they were very inexpensive. And I brought them back to New York, and I had my refinisher do this beautiful gilding on them, almost as though I imagined they were like this originally. Everyone that knows me knows that I love dramatic old master art, and this is actually one of my favorite pieces by the artist Garrow. He's a French artist, and he used to do the study of human forms, and he does beautiful oil paintings that have a wonderful character about them. And so I use a lot of his work in my interiors. I usually I email the museums that carry the actual paintings and ask them to send me a high digital image, and I print them onto canvas, which gives you a really good, very dramatic, but also a very contemporary take on a traditional theme. So I love spending time out here. I really have amassed a bunch of little plants, so I've never been a very big green thumb. But honestly, I'm surprised I've been able to keep everything alive. And I love to buy all these wonderful little objects that I find, like this. These were in Stamford, Connecticut. This little armillary sphere. These little pots, you know, are fun. This was actually a little console table that I actually had in my bedroom in my old apartment. And I said, let's just try it outside. It looks rustic enough. And then this great little mirror, which I love. And of course, the awning. You know, it's rain or shine in New York City. It rains, you know, one minute it's sunny and the next minute it's raining. So it was great to have a lovely little terrace awning. This was originally the primary bedroom of this apartment. But if you're like me, you spend most of your time at your desk working. So I've turned this actually into my library, only because this room has great exposure. It has another terrace off of this room. It's a little bit shallower, but it has those wonderful iron French doors. So I positioned my desk to face out towards those. And then this beautiful little urban oasis is how I describe it. I designed this banquette seating area for a lot of my projects. And I love to sit here, you know, to work on my laptop computer. It's like being on a sofa, but you can do some work from it. Also, one of my greatest tricks in interior design is actually to make a Persian carpet look like it's more antique than it actually is to actually put it on its backside. When I was a kid, I used to always go to these rug auctions, and I would see the carpets all rolled backwards, and I would always love the way the carpets looked on the back and in the front. So here you go. This is actually my carpet, and look at the difference. You know, this is what it is on the main side, but look how much more fine and antique it looks on the backside. So it's actually a great trick. If you ever want to make something a little bit more subtle, if you have a Persian rug, that's the best way to do it. So I love my French doors the way that they are, and I didn't want to have any window treatments on them. But in the mornings when I have direct sunlight, I actually come here with this little piece of fabric, which I had my seamstress, make out for me. And it's basically a Roman shade that's attached with a piece of Velcro. So when you have direct sunlight and you don't want to have a window treatment that's permanent, but it's a great little trick. So you use a little bit of Velcro and voila. This is my desk area. And then I built these two cabinets very formally to sort of anchor the room. I always wanted a red room for myself, but red is actually a very tricky color. It could be very severe. It can be very hard, to be in a red room all the time. So I really wanted something that was friendly and had a little bit of personality and a little bit uplifting. So this color is actually more towards an orange. So I actually mixed my own two colors, this fiery opal and dragon's blood, which I mixed together. These are my little sketches. Everyone that knows me on Instagram, it's Garrow K Designs if you don't follow me. Please follow me. I always post these different options for all my projects, and everybody loves to comment on them. So I usually do 2 or 3 layouts per room for all my clients and projects, and then I always post those sketches online. It's always so much fun.
And tell me about your pencil collection.
Oh yes, the concept is that whenever you have an idea, you have to have a pencil nearby so that you can write down your thoughts, and that happened mostly at my bedside. I keep my pencils by my bed, so at night when I'm like sleeping and have insomnia, I have an idea, I always write it down so that it lets me get to sleep. So this was actually a full bathroom, but because I have my guests use it, I wanted it to read more like a powder room bathroom and not a full bath. So my biggest challenge was to try and conceal the bathtub that was in here. So I actually had my contractor build this wall over the tub itself. I didn't want to get rid of the tub, so the tub is still actually back there. And I had these 2 pieces of remnant slab installed on top of the actual tub deck. It's perfect. And then this frosted glass door conceals it perfectly. So I have a couple of things in here. It's basically used as a storage warehouse now, but believe it or not, there is a tub in there. But that's why you frost the glass, so you can hide all your sins back there. The best part of this powder room bathroom is actually the ceiling. So I worked on a project on 79th Street, and the client literally had a hallway as long as Grand Central. And when I said that to her, she's like, oh my God, we should print out a copy of the star map for Grand Central. So this is actually one of the test strips that we used, and it was a leftover piece. And I said, oh, it's perfect for my powder room. Welcome to my primary bedroom. Everybody that knows my work knows that I love bed hangings, and this was no exception. So really a room within a room. And sometimes, it's counterintuitive, but when you actually do a detail like this in a small room, it makes the room feel like it has more layers, and it gives it a little bit more grandeur. So in this little room, I was able to put a lot of detail. So the bed hangings, they're opposite from this lovely apothecary chest that I bought at the Paris flea markets. This literally came out of an old pharmacy building. And then one of my very favorite details, those of you who know my work, the fake books that hide my TV. Voila! So this is a great company in England called Deck Books. I love them. They're great. You can order up your book spines. And it's actually the best way for me, I think, to hide your TV. In this lovely little cozy corner, I was able to tuck this small sofa. And I love this because in the evenings, I come in here and I retire from the day, watch a little bit of TV before I go to bed. And on this wall over the sofa, I put this gigantic, oversized printed canvas, this landscape. Because if there were no apartment there and a window instead, you'd actually see Central Park. Red for me is always the best color to use as a punctuation mark in your design. So for me, in this room, I use this lovely Caribbean teal wall color. And to punctuate it, I actually use these red curtains, almost like bookends, that frame the bed. I also repeated the red in this oversized canvas print over this lovely little antique table. I bought this table actually in the Paris flea market, and it's literally one of my favorite things in the apartment. If you look at the details on this piece, it is absolutely extraordinary. It is a combination of wood, so it's European ash, with travertine and brass inlay. It is really an extraordinary piece, and it just goes to show you that even though good things come in small packages, as small as it is actually a beautiful piece of art. It's a masterpiece. Bed pillows. Oh my God, I love bed pillows. In fact, I love pillows everywhere. These are sort of a collection of eccentric and fun fabrics that I've collected over the years. So these were Etro, beautiful hand embroidery pieces that were left over from a project. This is a gorgeous fabric that's from Quadro. It's now been discontinued, but I love it. And then this is the velour gaufrage, which is one of my favorite fabrics from Clarence House, which unfortunately also has been discontinued. But I love to surround myself with some of my favorite fabrics. So here is the space that I touch the least. I always say that I love the old pre-war bathrooms in New York City. And this was actually a wonderful, classic Carlyle black and white bathroom. I anchored the room with this wonderful antique mirror that I found in the Paris flea markets. And why not? Why not use a beautiful antique in your bathroom? It always makes your utilitarian space feel more like it's more of home. If you're like me, well, in New York City, the best thing I make for dinner are reservations, right? So I wanted the kitchen to really feel like a chic bar at the Carlyle. So this was really the concept. And it really was a facelift. The cabinetry, the boxes were here. I changed all the doors. I kept all the doors as they were. I kept all the appliances as they were. But I refaced all the cabinets with glass fronts. And I painted everything black. And I added what I love, this mural wallpaper. Also, one of my favorite things to do is to use sheet brass. This is a great company called Metal. And you can buy these sheets of brass, and they're great. They're really malleable. And there was a really ugly backsplash tile behind this that I even did not replace. I kept it, and I went over it with the brass. It's perfect. So this is actually there's an electrical panel, like a box there. So I was like, I hate seeing those things. And even after the painter painted the box black, I actually had my little frame shop cut me a little piece of the wallpaper and put in this little frame, and it hides perfectly. Thank you so much for coming by for a visit. I hope you enjoyed all my little details. But there's one other detail that I forgot to point out to you when you got here, and that's the elevator vestibule, which is the all-important detail in any New York City apartment. So when I moved here, the wallpaper was a little tired, a little old. So the best way to get your neighbors to agree to do something is to knock on their door and say, at no cost to you, I would like to redo the elevator vestibule. So this is a beautiful hand-painted wallpaper from Ixil. And this was actually a console that was here. It was actually brown wood, and I painted it black, and I purchased this stone top to put on top of it.
So this is wallpaper fit for the Carlyle.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks for watching. For more Homeworthy content, be sure to like and subscribe.